It's a must-see edition of SportsCenter each night at 6 p.m. Eastern, right after PTI.
I think it's time for KD to move on. It's like I said, it's always going to be Steph's team. I think it's time for him to move on, have his own team, be able to call Kevin Durant team and carry his own team. And actually, he's moving into the East now. So you could move into the East because we don't know what Kawhi's going to do.
Funny you should mention that.
And it could be a strong possibility. You come back healthy, more stronger, and
you're the guy in the East. There you go. It is. NBA free agency begins a week from today. We cannot wait. KD will be sidelined for probably all of next season, unfortunately, but Kendrick Perkins says Durant needs to leave Golden State and leave his own mark on another team, paging the New York Knicks. Stephen A., which team needs to prioritize offering KD a max deal this summer?
Well, to me, the team that needs to prioritize is the Knicks. The team that needs to prioritize.
I'm in the eyes.
You understand? The Knicks. Yeah. They need to prioritize talking. Let me tell you something, man. That damn Jalen Rose, I don't know if you know who he is. That damn Jalen Rose. Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something.
I like those frames, Stephen A.
Thank you so much. They're Cartiers. It's
yeah, I know.
Nice, pretty nice.
I see the cap.
Anyway, here's the deal. Seriously. The New York Knicks, I understand the whole building through the draft, all this other stuff. I get it. And I am not comparing, because every time I bring this up, Mr. Jalen Rose keeps saying the Knicks and the Lakers don't belong in the same sentence. He's right. 16 championships to 0 since 1973, for crying out loud, and only 2 in franchise history. We get it. I understand. What I'm saying is Madison Square Garden and Staples Center is what I'm looking at. And this notion that you don't need stars. You understand? When it comes to Madison Square Garden, even though Penn Station, don't get me started on what a hole that is. I'm going to be nice on national television here. We know what's infested there.
Let's forget those details.
The bottom line is that when you talk about Madison Square Garden, what do they say, Max, when they're announcing, Knicks game? Welcome to the world's greatest arena.
The world's most famous arena.
The world's most famous arena, right?
Yes. The Mecca.
But the stars stay away? Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense.
No.
You got to be able to have a star. Nobody preoccupies Madison Square Garden more than the Knicks and the Rangers. You got to have a star. At least we had Mark Messier at some point in the 90s, for crying out loud. All I'm trying to say to you is that you got to have a star. And when you look at, listen, Kevin Durant in bed, in a hospital bed, barely able to walk. You certainly can't play basketball for the next few months. If Kevin Durant signed the max today, he would go down as the biggest star the New York Knicks ever had. Right now.
No question.
We're not playing the game.
And it would be the best decision of his life.
He'd
also be like the 5th best guy on the roster.
He is not available. He is not available before October of 2020. Okay? And still, he would be the biggest star the New York Knicks ever had. I'm saying that there comes a point in time where to me, yes, everybody gets a chance to build through the draft. Everybody gets a chance to do that and take young guys and develop them. I got it. But to me, the real elite executives in this game who show their mettle is if at one point or another you find a way to get a superstar to don your uniform. The New York Knicks have not pulled that off. That is what they need to do. And Kevin Durant because Kawhi ain't coming. Kyrie, I don't think he's coming by himself unless the Nets won't want him, okay, based on all of these reports, okay? LeBron's already in L.A. Klay Thompson ain't leaving Golden State, not that he would be able to start at Kevin Durant. Steph Curry's staying in Golden State for years to come. I mean, look, this is the Knicks' shot. If they don't get Kevin Durant, who knows when they'll ever get a star? And that's my problem.
First of all, Madison Square Garden is known as the world's most famous arena and the Mecca. Has nothing to do with basketball. Apologies, Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed, because they did great things. But that reputation came from boxing. That's because Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson fought at the old Garden, and Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and Sugar Ray Leonard fought at this Garden. That's why it's the world's most famous arena. So much history.
Your eyes are twinkling when you talk about it.
Yes, it's about the fight games. Got nothing to do with basketball because of those 2 Knicks championships. And then the Patrick Ewing years, at least New Yorkers could have pride. But that's decades and decades ago, and that's not really why people refer to it that way. And the Knicks are a bad idea, not only for KD, but KD's a bad idea for the Knicks. KD, remember, the only player in the history of basketball, there's been one, to come back as most of what he was after an Achilles was Dominique Wilkins. KD will be 31 in September. He's not available till when, Stephen A? October of...
I'm saying
we
that. They're not saying we don't know when. We don't know for a fact, but we're saying
it's
because
going to be sometime. It's actually going to be sometime late next season that he'll be available. Now let's keep in mind, off of these kind of injuries, you're available to play usually about a year afterward, and then you're back to what you could be, like the best version of yourself a year after that. But no one comes back. Even Dominique wasn't 100% of what he was. So now you got to take a discount off of what he was.
Never say never. Tom Brady didn't fall off the cliff.
That's well, he declined, but it's true. He hasn't fallen off the cliff yet. He may have beaten my prediction by several months. We'll see. The point is, and KD, I'm rooting for him to be the first guy or the second guy to do it. He'll be 33 at the time. He'll be just naturally in decline anyway. And you're not going to get any value over the next 2 years. Bad idea for the Knicks. Bad idea for KD. Who's it a good idea for? The Warriors. Let me tell you why. I'm not saying KD should stay with the Warriors. I think there is a better destination for KD. But let me tell you why the Warriors should be the one extending the offer. Number one, they asked him and put pressure on him and created a climate where he would look bad if he didn't come back and play. They set expectations in pursuit of a championship. He risked, like a warrior, a true warrior, he risked the rest of his prime to try to deliver for them heading into free agency. Not a lot of players would do that. KD did that. They owe him. I'm not like this usually with teams. I'm like, hey, it's a business. Cut your losses. Nope. The Warriors owe KD. Even if they thought he wasn't coming back at full strength, they owe him the Supermax extension, whatever they can give him. Secondly, Warriors are capped out, and they're going to remain that way. Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Iggy. That's the core, right? You're going to compete with those guys. You will always be in the mix for a title, whether or not you win it with those guys. Since you have no clear path, you're not going to be drafting high. You don't have any money to get an impact free agent. Since you don't have a clear path to that, KD represents a chance at least for upside, for a guy you can sign and grandfather ring with his bird rights who might put you back right where you were. For all those reasons, it makes perfect sense for the Warriors to need him more than anyone else.
Well, first of all, you sound brilliant in your eloquence because I said the same thing last week, but I will tell you, so you echoed what I said, and I appreciate that. Very, very nice of you. The flip side to that, however, is this. Without KD, if Clay comes back, having already have Steph, presumably going to take care of Draymond Green. Yes, you may not win the championship, but you're going to be in the postseason. You're going to be in the equation. What I'm talking about with the New York Knicks is a franchise that has been perpetually dormant. So much so we have so many, we have an inordinate amount of individuals in New York City, probably on Prozac for crying out loud, because of the level of depression that we have been subjected to. You're talking about a franchise that has contributed to the misery of individuals. We don't know what people have done to themselves because of the New York Knicks. I know personally how I feel, Max Keller, having to deal with the New York Knicks and the things that they have subjected me to, okay? So what are we talking about here? I'm not talking about Kevin Durant, just a player. I'm not talking about Kevin Durant that's going to come back and in his sleep still drop you 25 a night. I'm not even talking about that guy. I'm talking about somebody that gives players an excuse to say, I don't mind coming to the Garden to play. That's what I'm talking about here. See, the Warriors ain't going to have that problem. Their problem is business-wise. All right, do we have the cap space? Who ain't going to want to come play with Steph and Clay? You got find plenty of dudes that's going to want to come play with Steph and Clay. Even with Draymond's mouth, the guy's a basketball savant. He works his tail off. One of the elite defenders in this game can ball. We understand that. My point to you, and they're champions. You're going to be able to find somebody eventually. Not a Kevin Durant caliber, and I totally understand your point. I'm simply saying, on the horizon,
I got you.
There's hope.
With
the New York Knicks, there's no hope.
I'm going to take you back.
We have no reason to hope yet.
I'm going to take you back to our 1050 ESPN days. Ready?
Sure.
When we had radio shows side by side. I used to have a segment where I would run the Abused Knicks Fans Hotline. Like, call in and we'll listen to you and we'll help you. We'll talk you down for that very reason. People were depressed. They were upset. They couldn't get out of the funk. I got news for those Knicks fans now. You do what I did, but be a Lakers fan. You'd be happier. By the way, Knicks can't hurt me anymore. How about this? You can be a Brooklyn Nets fan now, Stephen A. There was never another choice in New York. They were in Jersey.
You'd have a point if I were from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens.
Okay, fine. You're from Queens. That's closer to Brooklyn than
Madison Square Garden. Baby.
You're closer to Barclays than the Garden.
Maybe Stephen A's loyal.
It depends on the traffic of Atlantic Avenue. I mean, it depends on the traffic of Atlantic Avenue.
My point is, you got the Nets now. Guess what? They're well run. They're well coached. They're healthy. They're up and coming. And I'll bet you they get KD and not the Knicks.
I will say this. The one part I do not like talking about when it comes to the Knicks is that I am in no way trying to downgrade the Brooklyn Nets. They are a damn good organization. I think Sean Marks has done a hell of a job. Kenny Atkinson has done a hell of a job. They got some nice young talent. Prokhorov, and the Russians are about to give up ownership to the dude from China. He's about to own all of it, for crying out loud, within the next year and a half or so. And he's got really, really deep pockets worth tens of billions of dollars. All of that's great. I'm just simply saying that as a native New Yorker, born in the Bronx, raised in Hollis, Queens, New York, the lifelong Knicks fan, okay, I'm looking at the New York Knicks and I'm like, my God, it is not a good thing for the Brooklyn Nets to be relevant, to be good, and the New York Knicks to remain perpetually dormant. In my perfect world, I would like them to have the opportunity. Both of them will be respected. Like, for example, we're talking about the Lakers.
Hold on. My point is
they got to hold them to the end of the bucket.
The Knicks got to earn it first.
Sure.
Before guys like KD sign with them, they should show several years of being run the way the Nets are. And let me say this.
That's not necessarily true. The Nets struggle.
I was born in the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx. I grew up in Manhattan, right? Lifelong Knicks fan. Mm-hmm. Goodbye, Knicks. Nets are in town now.
Okay.
You have 6 years to get something done.
I want to look at Stephen A. and say this
to you. A true New Yorker.
You turned your back on the city.
I'm the true New Yorker. I should run for mayor.
They should not allow you in town. They really, really should. There should be barricades.
I think we should all applaud
They're 5 boroughs. You realize that, right?
loyalty, weathering the storm, staying with the Knicks. You're a true fan. I want to say I appreciate it, and you are going to be awarded.
Let me be very clear.
Both of you are suckers. You know that? You're suckers.
Can I tell you also? Juan Perez for Rock Nation, Jay-Z, they're on the verge of being called traitors too.
What?
I mean, these are guys that are, I mean, well, not really Jay. Not really Jay. But Juan, I mean, you talk about a guy that's supposed to be a New York Knicks fan. He's representing Kyrie.
That's right.
Really?
That's
and they talking Brooklyn. This is traitorous.
Brooklyn is traitorous, without a doubt.
A lot more debate on the way. Who should win tonight's NBA MVP award? Giannis, Harden, or Paul George? And Stephen A. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Amari Cooper joins the show.
What?
Does he put himself among the elite wideouts in the league? We'll ask him.
You can never go out.